North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, is a country located in East Asia, bordered to the north by China and Russia and to the south by South Korea. The Korean peninsula was divided into north and south in 1945 at the end of World War II, with the north occupied by the Soviet Union and the south occupied by the United States. An invasion initiated by North Korea led to the Korean War in the early 1950s, and though the armistice agreement brought about a ceasefire, a peace treaty was never signed, and the two sides remained divided by a heavily fortified demilitarized zone and two discrete governments that both claim legitimacy over the entire peninsula and adjacent islands. Despite the name Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the North Korean government is a totalitarian dictatorship with fabricated elections and government-run religious organizations to give the illusion of social liberties. Though all food, living expenses, and education is supposed to be provided by the government, the country is so impoverished that starvation has become a nationwide problem. The government's food distribution system failed, which caused people to steal factory parts and machines to sell to smugglers from China. With machines destroyed and factories unable to operate, the entire economy has been severely damaged. What money the government does have is funneled into the military-first system. The population of North Korea is estimated over 25.5 million people, ranked 54th population size in the world. But 1.2 million of these are active military troops, giving North Korea the fourth largest military by country after China, India, and the US. They have a very strong national ideology by the name of Juche, or national self-reliance. North Koreans are indoctrinated from a very young age that man is the master of his destiny and that you can become your own God. They are taught that the strength to improve your life is in you, which leads many North Korean defectors to believe that only the weak believe in God. To the North Koreans, Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, is their God. The first words children are taught is, "Thank you, Kim Il-sung, Grand Marshal." And several times a week, North Koreans have several hours of study meetings about Kim Il-sung and his family. These forced lessons also make North Korean defectors extremely adverse to church services and Bible studies. Every animal and object Kim Il-sung has come into physical contact with are idolized and cared for by the state. For example, the chair he sat on once is preserved by the government, and 12 people lost their lives protecting a tree he had written on once that had caught on fire. All 12 of them died clutching their Kim Il-sung badges to protect it from being burned. Giving their lives to save these holy objects are seen as the greatest honor and the rightful thing to do. North Koreans are forced to idolize Kim Il-sung's family, but a small percentage also practice Korean shamanism, Chindoism, Buddhism, and even 2% practice Christianity. However, the Open Doors Missions Group claims that North Korea has the most severe persecution of Christians in the world. Civilians just found owning a Bible or worshiping God are put into concentration camps. Missionaries caught evangelizing are imprisoned and tortured indefinitely, and many die from decapitation or disease from inhumane conditions. In the midst of these challenges, Pastor Yongbae Park has been doing missions work for about 23 years. He and other missionaries have been smuggling Bibles and spiritual material like the gospel letters into North Korean borders via USB flash drives. There are also evangelists ready to help and share the gospel with defectors around the Chinese borders. Pastor Yongbae Park and other missionaries have also led several North Korean defectors to receive training. There are currently 12 North Korean defectors attending RTS, and one RTS graduate has been commissioned to America. She is kin to the dictator Kim Il-sung and received elite education from Kim Il-sung University when she lived in North Korea. 2 North Korean defectors have been raised up as pastors, and there are 2 evangelism schools for North Korean defectors, one in Daegu and another in Gyeongin. There are continuous prayer meetings for North Korea and a mission home and specialized church in Incheon for North Korean defectors, which has about 350 people. Despite these great blessings from God, the field continuously presents challenges in North Korean ministry. Satan has completely covered the nation in anti-Christian, anti-gospel imprints rooted in natures. Their human-centered ideologies make many defectors too strong-willed and obsessed with money, survival, and success to remain in the Tarakbang movement. They are also so oppressed by paranoia from their life of oppression that many run away from Christianity. Others are unable to handle the sudden increase in freedoms and go through an identity crisis, particularly the TCKs, or the third culture kids. Some are even caught by undercover North Korean spies, proving that their paranoia was not so unfounded. All of these challenges and more require us to pray for North Korea, as well as the missionaries and defectors. Let us take a few moments to pray for the North Korean ministries with the 8 prayer topics that we received from Pastor Yongbae Park. First is for the people being persecuted and tortured for worshiping God. There are currently 6 missionaries tortured in prisons for several years and 1 to 200 people in concentration camps just for possessing a Bible. The second prayer topic is for the North Korean defector TCKs in America, China, Korea, and all around the world. For the third is for the strong house of Satan, the communist regime, to break down according to God's time schedule, and the churches to be established in 38,000 places and bring religious freedom for the 25 million people. Fourth is for the South Korean churches to be spiritually prepared and revived to embrace the North Korean defectors. Fifth is for the disciples to arise among the defectors. Sixth, for the prayer meetings and evangelism schools to have continuation. Seventh, for the disciples remaining in China, including the 12 RTS students and the defector pastors. And eighth, for Pastor Yongbae Park and the North Korean defector missionary from North Korea who is commissioned to the U.S. For their vessels to prepare their vessels for the next 30 years of North Korean missions.